welcome back. So today I'm doing a book haul, and these are actually most of them are books that I bought on my Kindle because it's cheaper to buy books on your Kindle than it is to buy physical ones. So I did buy a set of physical books, and I got the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. So I just thought it was like a cute little set, and I don't have a copy of this series yet, even though every fantasy fan should have one. So now I do. Okay, so the rest of the books I got on Kindle, and they were all... So Kindle has like a lot of sales on books. I go on there and I notice like every month they have a sale. So they have books that are on sale all month. And then every day they have different books that are on sale every day. And then there's a lot of times they'll have like weekly books. Like this week was for International Women's Day. They had a bunch of books written by women or featuring women of importance. There's all sorts of books that you can find on Kindle for not very much money. And the prices generally go from about 99 cents to the most expensive I've seen on there was like $9.99. But those are typically like cookbooks. There's more pictures and things in them, so that's probably why they're more expensive. But not all of the cookbooks are $10. Some of them are like $1.99 or something. So these are books that I bought over a couple of months. It wasn't all the ones that I just bought this month. So let me go through and let you know what I got. For anybody that doesn't think Kindle books don't count, of course they count. And the reason I like them is because they're cheaper. And if they're cheaper, it means I can buy more books. And that's what counts. Okay, so the one I found most recently was called Truthwitch. This is by Susan Dennard. I know that this is a fantasy book. It's one that I've seen a lot of people reading right now for like Witchathon or something like that. And I was like, hey, that sounds pretty good. Or I don't even know a whole lot about it, but just that a lot of people are reading it. And I probably won't get to it this month, but I did see it, and it was like $1.99, so I went ahead and got it. Another one that I got is called Woven in Moonlight by Isabel Ibanez. And this is another fantasy. I believe this is like an Indian-inspired fantasy, but I can't remember. I guess I'll find out when I read it. Next book I got was called Gods of Jade and Shadow by Silvia Garcia Moreno. And I know this is another fantasy book. I've heard some things about it, but I don't remember that much about it. Next one I found was called Lovecraft Country by Matt Ruff. And I know that there's I think an HBO series about it. I know it has something to do with Lovecraft. So it's a horror, got lots of monsters and probably a lot of tentacles and stuff like that in it. So it'll be fun. Next one is the Cinder Spires, the Aeronaut's Windlass, and this is by Jim Butcher. I know that this is the first one in the series, but I think there's only one that's been published so far. And I think there's a talking cat in it, or talking dog, something like that. So I hear about these, I think they sound good, and then later I see them on sale, and so I decided to purchase them. But I don't always remember exactly what they're about. But hey, they sounded interesting when I heard about them, so hopefully they still are. Next one I found was called The Space Between Worlds by Micaih Johnson. And I think this one's a sci-fi. Again, I don't remember a whole lot about it. I know I heard about it. I know that it was one of those that people got for Book of the Month. I don't subscribe to Book of the Month, but I have found that a lot of the books that they have on Book of the Month, if you wait a few months, they do go on sale on Kindle. Next one is The Girl in the Blue Coat. This is by Monica Hesse. This is a historical fiction. I know it takes place during World War II, and I've noticed that is kind of a really popular time to do historical fiction. Everybody likes to hear about perseverance and everything during those times, and I presume this will be similar. I do like a lot of fiction during that time, and sometimes I prefer something from another time period, but they're kind of harder to find. Next one that I got was Horrorstor by Grady Hendrix. This is a horror book. I know that has something to do with, I think it's a furniture store or something, and there's ghosts or mannequins or something in there. I do like to pick up some horror from time to time, and this one sounded interesting and looked interesting, so I decided to pick it up. And then I found the entire Giver Quartet by by Lowery. This was like the entire 4-book series. I think it was like $2.99 for the whole series. And I probably should have read this by now, but I haven't. So, and if you don't know, it's kind of a dystopian. I know the first one has to do with a world where nobody has memory except for the giver of memory and a boy who is to take his place as the giver of memory, and this is their story. Next one is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. I believe this one's a sci-fi. I heard great things about Blake Crouch, that he writes pretty good suspense and different things, so this will be the first book that I've ever read by him. The next one I found was How Long Till Black Future Month by N.K. Jemisin. This one is a sci-fi. You know, it addresses racial inequality and different things like that, and instead of like Black History Month, it's Black Future Month, putting kind of a different spin on how we see history or how we see the future, I guess. The next one is The Girl and the Stars by Mark Lawrence. This is a newer fantasy book. I know it's the first one in the series. Don't know a whole lot about it, but I think it takes place in the same world as the Red Sister series. I'll be interested to see what that's all about. The next one is The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. I believe this has something to do with, obviously, witches, and I'm not sure if it's historical fiction or if it's kind of the aftermath of like the Salem witch trials or something like that, but I'll be interested to read it. And the last one that I found was a whole trilogy, and they weren't all at once, but they did go on sale one at a time, and that was the Poppy War trilogy. I got the first 2 last year. I read them, really liked them, and then in January this year I found The Burning God, and so I can finish the series. So those are all the books that I have purchased in the last few months, and like I said, they're all on, most of them are on Kindle, and that's just kind of the way I like to purchase books, just because, just like everyone else, I have a budget of books, and I don't have unlimited fundage to spend on them, unfortunately. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I post new videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays.